Hello to you, my fellow Dark Ones. How are you guys doing today? How's life? And yes, welcome to a desolate planet. This is a crash landing remake, so I'm pretty excited. I love that mod pack, just because of a very small and old channel which has a slab named after it. We should not talk that much. Let's go inside, because it's hot. Also, a few things that you might notice is that instead of a quest book, what we have is a multi-purpose assistant terminal. It's a fancy questing book. Secondly, we are playing hardcore because there's no other option, but let's get some dust. We have around 3 minutes of grace period, so we should not overheat. Yeah, the heat bar is not changing. That's good. For obvious reasons, we also don't have vein miner. We're supposed to suffer. I think the lore of this mod pack, in case some of you guys are interested, is that, well, we crash landed on a planet, and using my mesmerizing eyes, we have to get out. No, not with the eyes. Although they are amazingly beautiful, they're kind of useless. I think that's a decent amount of dust, right? Let's get a bit more. Okay, I'm overheating. Let's go back in, and we close the gates. They have fancy buttons. So we go to the quest book, show the quests, basic survival, and we do have to gather some supplies from the ship. It's a crescent hammer, a mesh, as well as a sieve. I think it's in there. That is very true. Everything we needed. And thankfully what we're going to get is some water bottles. So there is a water source outside. Yeah, let's fill these guys in. It's dirty water, but we can purify it somehow. So obviously, now that we're inside, let's drink some water. And I'm assuming we should start doing some sieving. Let's do it over here. This is a slab, let's just break it. The mesh goes in, and we're going to start sieving some dirt. Remember, the ability to hold right-click is an integral part of every single hardcore mod pack. But that is great. With sieving dirt, we're getting stone, we're getting salt, it's good for jerkies, and we're getting bone meal. And we're also getting some garbage. Gold. Let us also check the quest book one more time, the hard route, the easy route. Unfortunately, since I'm making a video out of this, we have to go the hard route, but we do get more water bottles and some saplings. If we provide our computer with one bone meal, what is going to happen is that we're going to get one dirt, and let's plant a sapling, I guess. And let's hope an enderman doesn't take it away. We have some fight to grow. Oops, it's hot, I know. There is a very high chance that we're going to die. I'm not good at hardcore. But as long as we're under a block, heat shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, the leaves don't count, but the logs do. Ouch, ouch. Yeah, I told you I'm not great at hardcore. Didn't know they have thorns. Let's go inside. We have plenty of wood. And we close the door. The reason that we needed some wood is that in this mod pack, what we have is Thinker's Construct. So let us get a crafting table, we upgrade it into a crafting station. Not really sure if at this very moment we are going to need a chest, but let's get one. And yeah, if we put the chest next to the crafting station, we can craft everything. So what do we need to do? We need a tinker station, a part builder. That's our tinker station, and one part builder. That is lovely. We're making progress. No. We're actually doing garbage. Anyways, let's try to get some patterns, and let us also try to get some bone meal. Because with bone meal, what we should be able to do is to make some bone tools. From Tinkers, obviously. And to be honest with you, I don't think that's very optional, we have to do that. Yeah, vanilla tools are non-functional. Cool. For the moment, that should be plenty of bone meal. And the first thing that we have to make is a wooden tool handle. So there you go. They want us to make some sort of a hatchet using bones. So it's that. And the head. So do we get the rose gold handle or iron small axe head? We go with a handle. And I need more bone meal. The silk mesh is just garbage. But that's enough in order to make a bone small blade. And that should be another quest. Oh my goodness. I go with bubbly hearts. You know, they do give us the pendant and that's an extra heart. So why not? This is the brand new Tinkers, so I have absolutely no idea how it works, but that is going to be our sword. Everything else is made out of wood. Then there's the hatchet, which we're going to make it out of rose gold. Why not? And obviously, I'm just going to get back to sieving. Oh, redstone. Also, it's nighttime and look at the crazy amount of mobs. That's awesome. What the hell is that? Is that a death creeper? I got Grandma's teeth nagging horses flashback. Actually, wait a minute. I think our next quest is to kill a few mobs, right? Maybe we can have a bit of a mob farm? I'm not sure. It's early game. What can go wrong? Let's gather some mobs. And how do we kill them? Yeah, that's good. That's actually quite good. How do we collect it? Like that. So the good thing is that now with the salt that we have and with the rotten flesh, we can make some zombie jerkies. They don't really come towards the hole that much. Okay, now they do. Poisonous spider! Don't you worry. we have some rations. How did it come in? This could be our last night. Giant zombie. That's perfect. Normally it's the zombies that are looking for food. I'm actually hungry and we're running out of rations. I just realized that the hole is really a bad idea. There are mini creepers, but there's also some food. Maybe not. It's okay, I'll get back to sieving. I sifted all the dirt, we have half a stack of pebbles. I'm assuming that's going to provide us with a furnace, which is perfect. That should be one more quest. And the best part of it is that it's also daytime. Now I think we can also purify some water. Do we have tiny charcoal? No. Well, we have sticks. Does it work? Seems to work. Purified water. The gist of it is that I really want to get out of here. You know, gather the drops. Husks don't burn, but they do die. And they drop food. I'm just trying to walk away so that they despawn. There's a creeper at the door. Was not the best journey, but at least we got some food. You know, somehow I do have to get rid of them without boiling. Okay, in the water we do actually cool down, which is perfect. That's food. Don't despawn, please. Come on. Thank you. Also, it does seem that the shade from the leaves work. So I have gathered some dirt, and I think the first thing that we have to do is to try and make a perimeter. It's not going to be super easy, but we need to do something. I can't work during the night. Also during the day, because everybody's outside. And it does seem that I need quite a bit of dirt. It's okay. We take shelter. You know, it's not a difficult mod pack, it's just that you can't be outside that long. Ladies and gentlemen, if you look at the map, you might notice that we have a perimeter. It's not perfectly secure, but there are torches even outside, so we shouldn't get any mobs. But since it is nighttime, I'm wasting my time with sieving, and we also have a few quests. There is a brand new questline, the Food Pyramid, and it seems that we had to make the monster mash first. I think it's supposed to be a better food, let's make some. Still poisonous. But we get some bone meal and some shells, that is great. Jerky is also another option, we have already used that, let's get the rotten flesh. Also, at basic survival, we're supposed to make a crook. I think we can also make the Tinker's one. We're going to make the head out of bone, and this should be acceptable. We get rubber wood saplings. Oh, we're supposed to get string. Can you eat worms? Yes. Well, you are supposed to get more saplings using a crook. So far, nothing. Okay, we got 2. I spoke too soon, as usual. There's some food over there. And that's a baby creeper, we're not going out. Oh, and by the way, it does seem that we have something like iguana twigs in this mod pack, so your tinker tools do upgrade by themselves. Another thing is that we are going to need a teeny tiny bit more dirt. I hope he kills himself. But yeah, that is a barrel and we can compost saplings inside. That should give us dirt. Please die. Cool, we have an extra dirt. I also need to get rid of those guys. Yeah, he's dead. We got a worm. Well, you guys know the drill. I need more saplings. I need 3 dirt. Just for the quest, I think they're going to give us a wheat seed. That's 2. And that should be 3. Lovely. I'm hoping I get to keep the dirt. Yeah, that is great. Where do we plant it? Don't really know if it needs hydration, but we plant it there. And we can have some food. I mean, you can make bread, right? Oh my goodness. Some proper food. I don't really remember this in the last crash landing, but it does seem that in this version, we have a desert armor. It should provide heat resistance, the only problem is that it does require a bit of string. It's infested, good. So while the tree is being infested, that's not enough cobblestone. Yeah, I was wondering if I can get some flint and upgrade my mesh to flint. It will give us a better yield. Maybe that's enough. It's called a crushing hammer and it's not that expensive. Again, I'm going to make it out of bones because we want to keep things standard. But if we crushed on cobblestone, we should get some gravel, which is perfect. There's obviously a crafting recipe like this to get flint, but let's see if I can get lucky. Yeah, I can get lucky. Very lucky. That is 3, we need 4. That is 4. And if that is the case, let's do a very small upgrade. I think we should get better yield. Without vein miner, this is gonna be extremely painful. But you see, we're getting tons of string. I'm actually quite happy. And we also get worms. We did not get that much string, but I suppose this is going to take some time. However, in the meantime, one of the things that I don't really mind getting is to get into a bit of sophisticated storage. It's not gonna be something super fancy, I just want a barrel. We should be... yeah, we can't upgrade it to copper. Actually, we might be able to. Because with copper, whenever you break the ore, you always get something extra. It's like default fortune. What do we need for a pickaxe? Usual stuff. We can mine it with a bone pickaxe, that's perfect. Yeah, we get more. Lovely. Oh, you get way more. We need 8 ingots. We have 14. Whoops. I wanted to peek outside. This should provide us with a teeny tiny bit more storage. Anywho, let us move on. In order to make the desert armor, what we're going to need is leather, and we don't have enough. We can convert rotten flesh into leather by cooking it, but the pants actually requires quite a bit of rotten flesh. They found me. Worst part is that there are too many husks. Well, we are going to try and craft as many parts as we can, so that should be the helmet, the chest plate. We can afford the boots, no? More string. Oh, those are planks. Cool. We have some garbage armor. The problem is that I need more rotten flesh, which came to our door. I just got a bit more bread. We need to eat, and therefore that should be our pants. So the reason that I wanted to eat is that, well, it's daytime. We go and gather some rotten flesh. I just went around our base. There's nothing. Oh, there's a bit here. Better than nothing. And just before we overheat, let me gather some dust. He was waiting for me at the door. I don't really know how it happened, but we lost our supply of water. I was picking it up with bottles. I didn't do anything special. And it does seem that we're going to need more water. Thankfully, there is a way. There is a flux capacitor, and there is a centrifugal separator. Do you go there? Yeah. So we should be able to get some water using saplings. Oops. That's a mediocre amount of water. I wish I knew about that mechanic earlier, but let's get some iron so that we would be able to make a bucket. So that is 1 bucket of water out of 20 saplings. That's not great. Well, at this very moment we do have a supply of water, so let's try to get more saplings, I suppose. I wanted to make shears, but this one is also supposed to give us leaves. It's from Tinkers. Okay, it's just a spider, because some of them have creepers on top, but can we get more water? Oh, you need 40. Oops. Not sure if we can have an infinite water source, but that's basically what I'm trying to make. So we need 2 buckets of water. Also, for the moment, you can output to the bottom. You can input from the top. We power you as well, and we try to fill in 1 bucket. Cool. Let's try to make our infinite source of water inside. Like so. Is it infinite? Nope. So you can't make infinite sources of water. Wait, this didn't used to happen. I just updated the pack. A bottle of water should not cost me 1 source block. Well, that is perfectly fine, because one of the things that we can do is that there is a bit of clay over here. You know, these ones. That's actually more than enough. And what we're going to try and do is to make a cooking pot. Because if we do manage to get our hands on some sort of a potato soup or something, we will also have water as well as nutritions. Yeah, you see, it's a food, also gives you water. Even though beetroots are a bit better. Do we get beetroots? Please. Well, we got something from Farmer's Delight. And sugarcane. I needed that one too. Yeah, we got rice. I do have to fix the food situation as soon as possible, so this is what we have to do anyways. I think we can also compost leaves in order to get dirt, so it shouldn't be a big deal. Oh, I broke it with a crook. I wanted the leaves. Yeah, leaves also give us dirt. We should get a decent number. I'll be right back. Yes, beetroots. Well, we have a few more dirt to waste. Okay, we just got the 1. That's fine. Since it's nighttime and I don't really dare to go out, let's plant it over here and try to get a few. Oh my goodness, it takes ages. Well, that is perfectly fine. Let's try to get our cooking pot. I think we also need a campfire. So there you go. I don't really think it's going to cause heat inside. So let's just put it here. Yeah, beetroot soup. It's food and water. Hello. It is the next day for me, and yeah, we are in a creative world, and yes, I have died twice here. It's creative. You can't really die. So I wanted to check a few things, but it does seem that this planet is made out of dust, sand, gravel, and crushed deep slate, as well as obsidian and oil, but well, that's way in the future. Obsidian starts at Y level minus 45. That's basically what I wanted to check. Let us go back to our own world, where I have done some progress. Apparently you spawn with F5. Hello. So since the last cutscene, I have been trying to solve the food situation, and we have a very teeny tiny farm. For beetroots. Ouch. Oh, out of water. Drink water. I have realized that the furnace and the campfire do cause heat inside the ship, so I moved them outside. Instead of a normal sieve, now we have a compressed sieve, which, you know, does like 9 items at the same time, with a golden mesh. And most importantly, we have a bed. It's incredibly useful because you can skip the night and there are no more monsters. So outside I have been collecting a ton of dust, mainly from there and a teeny tiny bit from here. As a result, we do have a decent supply of resources, and I think we have a bit more in the furnace. Yeah, that is true. I have also switched from spruce to birch. Leaves are more accessible. You know, at least what I can do is that I can get more dirt and I can also get some water. But the reason that I brought you in is that I have a plan. It's actually a bit of a grindy plan, but here's what we're going to do. For the next 1 hour or two, what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to chop down trees, gather some dust, and sieve them. After getting some resources, we are going to try and make a hole. If we go down to obsidian level, the only thing that we have to do in order to gather some sand, gravel, as well as dust is to just place down a torch. Also, before I do some resource gathering, let's make a crucible. I think you can also make water with this, but I'm not exactly sure. That is very true. You can actually make water with this. I just put some saplings inside. That's very good. Moving on, I thought maybe it's a better idea to just go underground and gather some sand and dust and gravel. Then I'm going to do the grind. However, what I'm going to do is that we're not going to dig under our base. We're going to try and move, I don't know, maybe like 50-60 blocks. It's relatively easy. I'm just making a tunnel and I'm covering it. And I'm really hoping nothing spawns down here. I think that should be a decent distance from our base. Let's dig down. That should be decent, right? Should we go more? A bit more. Just a bit. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is a decent distance. Also, you can't really make ladders in this mod pack because for some reason they do require oak and I don't have an oak sapling. So what I did is that I went with framed ladders from framed blocks. You can use any wood, it's more expensive but it was manageable. Also, it takes you down really fast. I'm alive. Another thing that I have noticed, which you might have also noticed, is that when you're underground you're not overheated. That's kind of nice. I hope there's no lava pool down there. Oh, that is sand. And that one is gravel. Finally. And that one is deep slate. Oops. Yeah, that's another problem. They break really fast. I'm out of ladders. I did repair my tool, but we're at -40. This should be fine enough, right? I broke the torch. Alright, let's crush it. Why? Wish I had a slab. Well, in my defense, I did try my best. That didn't work. Okay, so as in vanilla, I thought you can break the bottom block, place down a torch, and you know, the entire thing will crumble. There is a mechanic in this mod pack which breaks anything you put under falling entities. For example, a slab. It broke. So it's not the best. But honestly speaking, this is not the worst. Still, it's the safest way of gathering gravel, sand and dust. I think. And sometimes it breaks itself. Yeah, sometimes I'm actually breaking more than one block. Well, I mean from 4 columns, I got all these goodies. But one of the things that you might have noticed is that I have been doing that for a while. So we do have a decent supply of resources, including 4 diamonds. And obviously way more hoppers. I'm just basically putting a hopper on top of everything so that it's automated. So those diamonds are going to be incredibly useful because we can upgrade our mesh. Okay, it would have been very weird if it required 8. Thankfully it's just the 4. A bit of a time later and I have done some progress. Yes, we have a much bigger perimeter and now we're eating burgers as well. Because you know, I did manage to sieve some bean seeds. That is because we have the nutrients mod in this mod pack and we have to balance our diet and I was not paying attention to that. Beetroot soup only gives you vegetables. And we kind of need all of them. Burger seems to be the best bet. Also, purifying water is very resource intensive and takes a lot of time, so I was hoping we can get some melon seeds. But so far you might notice that I have been unsuccessful. But I'm still making more dirt. Anyways, let's try to improve our lives. So I do say that burger is going to be our main source of food, but crafting it is a bit painful. I can only make them one by one. So why melon seeds are our main priority, there is something else that we can craft. It's called leather insulation. That's a huge waste. Huge waste. But we should have, yeah, a bit of rotten flesh. And we have a bit of string. So that should be our leather insulation. It does go in your bubble slot. So we should feel less heat, right? I think. Maybe? Yeah, actually it's not that bad. Also, this could be a huge waste, but can we get some melon seeds? Please. That's pumpkin seeds, right? Or maybe grass. That's melon. I think. Yeah, melon seeds. Awesome. I need more dirt. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a while later and you might notice that we have some melons. I'm not kidding with you, but it took me like 2 hours to figure it out, but melons do not grow on dust. They grow on dirt. I'm not talking about the stem, I'm talking about the actual melon. Another thing that you might notice is that there is a pillar out in the distance. That is because I cheated a bit and increased the render distance to 32 chunks. So I saw that thing and I thought that is a city and we have to visit a city. But it's just a teeny tiny pillar. However, I have done some exploration. You might notice that we have a meteor from Applied Energistics. This seems to be a farmhouse. This one seems to be a refinery, which I don't really think we are supposed to visit there, but most importantly, that's the city. I actually didn't have to go exploring because, well, guess what? It's over there. You just had to increase the render distance. So that is definitely something that we need to visit, but before doing that, we need a decent supply of food as well as water. Well, by water, I just mean melon juice. Also, according to the quest book, we need a hand glider and a backpack. So during the night, I did manage to kill a few zombies. Well, I didn't kill them, I just gathered the rotten flesh. That's only 10, but I think we also get some as a quest reward. One, if you're wondering how the hell am I making a lot of dirt because of the constant noise, I'm using leaves. Far more efficient. Yeah, heat shield gives us some leather. So how would you make a glider? That's not expensive. Yeah, that's one glider wing, that is 2, the framework, and the glider. Why is there 2? Oh, okay. We also need a backpack, that is also fairly cheap, so let's smelt some leather. And what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to try and gather as much food as I can. We can make bottles, right? That's true. We take more melon juice. So that's the garbage backpack. I think we can go to diamonds. Yeah, that is iron. That is gold. Let's go to diamonds. I think there's a thunderstorm. We're in a desert, so you don't see the rain, but it takes away the heat. Uh-oh. They're mobs. Oops. Actually, before we go, would it be possible to get some netherrack? There is a teeny tiny bit of lava here. Let's take it without falling in. Yeah, finally. So, that is lava. Is that netherrack? Yes. Obviously, we need 9. You know, one of the things that I should have done is that I should have kept the lava in order to make more lava, because with a torch, this could take ages. The reason that I want some netherrack is that if we sieve it, we are going to get some glowstone, and with that glowstone, I can make a lantern. Can I? Yeah, I can. I think it's going to be very useful if we visit the city. Over there, what we're looking for is a tinker smeltery, because we can't craft the parts. Yeah, I think with this method, this is going to take ages. This is the second bucket. So, thankfully, we do have a decent supply of pebbles, which, you know, can be converted into cobblestone. And I think we can convert that into andesite. I think we do need to get into a teeny tiny bit of create. That's some andesite alloy. So, that's a water wheel. Can I make a drill? How do you strip a log? Yeah, you can't really do that with a hatchet. But thankfully, axes are cheap, so there you go. And that is our first andesite casing. You know, I was just thinking that we don't have that much pebbles, maybe we should make a cobblestone generator. So that's going to be the drill, and I do have 1 bucket of water. You do work, right? Perfect. So the only thing that we are going to need is just going to be 1 bucket of water. What happened? Nothing. Which I think we can cheat and make it with like 4 dirt. Is that water? Perfect. Let's also make sure that we are not going to make any boo-boos, so that's a stair, and water goes in, and that's cobblestone. I don't really know how to make it more automated, but there's a hopper, there's a barrel. It should pick it up. If it breaks one day, yeah, it does pick it up. Perfect. I have just wasted some extra resources in order to make some iron sheets. I made a mechanical press, there's a small water wheel down there. Because if you look at the heat sources for a crucible, it does seem that a blaze burner, even the empty one, is actually quite good. It's better than the lit one. Well, the only thing that we needed for that was 4 iron sheets and 1 netherrack. So I think if we replace the torch, this is gonna be amazing. No? I just wasted so much resources. In my defense, that was in the JEI. Well, I guess we need it for later. Well, it does seem that, yeah, torches are garbage, but fire is fine. There is a piece of netherrack down there. But we do have our 9 pieces, let's hammer them down and hope for the best. Glowstone? Oh, we got 4. That's actually quite good. Do you know why? Because if we have 1 more bucket of lava, that's endstone. And the best part of getting endstone is that we can claim this reward. Oh, I have to pick and choose. The question is, what does endstone give you? That's not bad. Let's go with endstone. I don't have the diamonds to make more lanterns anyways. We got a pearl. That means I can finally finish this quest. Okay, so there was a shotgun with some shells in there. I got half a stack of shells as a quest reward. We have plenty of food, we have plenty of drinks. And obviously, we have our lantern. So let's go to the city. Also, we might as well take our bet. It's a hardcore world. If we die, we lose everything anyways. Also, melon juice gives you instant health, so it's not that bad. I look fancy with the shotgun. I'm gonna die. So in a creative world, I have already checked. There is a building which does have a tinker smeltery and it's in the basement. It's just that it has been such a long time I forgot which building it was. I think it had mud bricks. So maybe that one? Or even this one. So that is the lantern. We wait for it to do its job. Oops. There's a spawner. Is that... Oops. We have a gun. Please break. Thank you. Oh, there's another one on top. Oh, there's a smeltery. It's a good thing that we have the gun. There are some casts, which is perfect. I just wanted to mention this is a very dangerous place. If you have one life. I need to break that spawner. There's no way around it. And he did spawn. Let's break it. Yes. I think we're good. Let's take it. The thing is, you can't make grout. That's not a pickaxe. Okay. The problem is that the smeltery doesn't really have a tank. Can I break these? No. I can break that one. I thought the lantern is going to get rid of the mobs, but I was wrong. Oh, there's an anvil. I can't break it. And vanilla tools don't work. Does it fall? No. There's another smeltery. Oops. Baby skeleton. Yeah, I think it's way better to put the garbage lantern here. Maybe it will disable the spawners. Also, can you open them? Yes. Oops. I don't need dust. Trash piles are probably nice. Cactus. And bamboo. I think it's fairly lit up. Yeah, let's walk away. I'm just hoping that they would have despawned by now. It does seem that they despawned. I want to save the ammo, is the thing. We break. And I think we're safe. There's actually not much of interest. And I still don't know how to make a tank. Oh, there are tanks. Lovely. Thankfully, there's an anvil so I can repair my tools. We got some bones. And I don't think I have enough bricks. Yeah, from the trash piles, you do get rubber and plastic. That's amazing. Not always. Well, you do get all kinds of garbage, including bones. Sleeping bags. Again, not that it really matters, because we only have one life. I think we have to go back home. We don't have everything that we are going to need, but I'm running short on melon juice. Yeah, we leave the lantern. I am back at the base, and I just had an epiphany. It doesn't have to be a fancy smeltery. It can be totally garbage. And believe me, this is a totally garbage smeltery, but it's valid. It's a 1x2, but if it works, who cares? I think the first thing that we're going to do is that we're going to try and upgrade our pickaxe and our sword. We do have the blade cast. Yeah, you can only put 2 ingots in there. That's it. But we can upgrade to iron at least. And talking about iron, we don't have any ingots. But can I cast? Lovely. So give me an iron pickaxe. Awesome. Let me try to upgrade the tools. I just wanted to mention that iron tools are way better. Way better. We even got an upgrade. It's probably garbage. The thing is, I just want to get more diamonds. So that, I don't know, maybe I would be able to make more lanterns and also explore the city more. That would be awesome. I'm making a mess. I think we have enough. Let's also leave the iron. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, for me it is the next day, and what I have done is that I'm expanding our perimeter. Also, I have been gathering a ton of food, and most importantly, I'm getting a bit more organized. Sifted material, things that we have to sieve, and also the resources, mob loot, etc. And yes, I have also been gathering some netherrack. But here's the deal, I have a plan. It could be a very garbage plan, but you might notice that we don't really have any protection. The tunic that I'm wearing gives us leather armor protection, but it does insulate us from the heat. There is a steel suit that we can craft, which gives us way more protection, but there's also this. The space suit from Ad Astro, and well, if you look at the tooltips, it will tell you that it will have 15% heat dampening. Also the helmet, also the boots, the leggings, etc. So I'm not sure if it's the same heat mechanic as maybe cold sweat, but Ad Astro is something that we have to use to get off this planet, so we might as well try to make it. The spacesuit. The spacesuit is going to give us better protection. I think it's iron armor, but you might notice it does require steel. For making steel, what we are going to need is a metallurgic infuser from Mechanism. So I made a metallurgic infuser in order to make steel. We're getting enriched iron. I also made one pitiful generator in order to, power the metallurgic infuser, but it wasn't enough. I made the second one. Still, it's not enough, even though we're only consuming 20 RF per tick. So I'm burning some redstone. That helps. But while that thing is cooking up, let us also make some fertile soil from Farmer's Delight. So thankfully there is an alternative recipe. We can use any kind of vegetable, wheat and bone meal. There is a quest for it as well, and it will help our crops grow, so why not? And talking about quests, there is another one. Gives us hay bales. That is obviously more wheat. We can craft 25. Why? Oh, tomatoes. We have other garbage. We just have to put it somewhere so that it will dry up. You can put water next to it or mushrooms or whatever and it will dry up faster, but this will also work. I do have a lot of things to do, so I can wait. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's safe to say that we're never ever going to have food issues ever again. Also, I have made the spacesuit. Unfortunately, it's not very efficient. You see, it does tell you unmet requirements, you're not wearing the full spacesuit, which I am. I think it's just disabled. So as a result, we are overheating, but I don't think that's a big issue. I have also made a satchel for my tools, and I have also upgraded all of my tools to steel. And yeah, I'm also making more steel. Also, I just remembered in Thinkers we can add a diamond to increase durability. Why not? Well, that is true if you have an extra slot for upgrades. We don't have it on every single tool. But we have it on the pickaxe. That's good. Oh, and I added quartz to my sword, so we do way more damage. Another thing is that yes, I have only 2 lanterns on me. That's because I placed most of them down around our perimeter. So if we go to F7, yeah, it's fairly lit up. It's actually quite a weird mod. I don't really get it. Anyways, let's get geared up. We go back to the city. That should be plenty of burgers and plenty of melon juice. It's a very long walk. Wish we had railcraft. I forgot to bring the gun. Okay, I went and brought the gun. This is the city and we want to explore more buildings. This is a big one, so let's have a lantern here. Somebody's shooting. And I guess since it's nighttime, let's try to take a nap somewhere. Yeah, here is fine. And I guess we put the second lantern somewhere around here. I see spiders. We do more damage to spiders. But the main reason that we are here is for the anvil, which thankfully this time we can take it. Let's take them both. Why not? I think this time we can also break the crumbling seared bricks. Yeah. So if we crush them down using a hammer, we will get seared bricks. Which now that I'm thinking, we might as well just use a hammer. Yeah. We got a quest. Wait, can you hammer down blackstone? No, you just get the bricks. I take the rest of the garbage. Because the thing is, building blocks are a bit expensive. We might as well take whatever we can. We're also looking for that. Plastic. Oops. Mini Enderman. That's not good. Now we have an angry Enderman somewhere. Here. Ooh, we got a pearl. I'm in the second building and unfortunately I took a few heavy hits. So we're running short on melon juice. I think we have to go home. But that is some cardboard boxes from Create. This one is from Mechanism, we take it. And I think there is a blaze spawner somewhere around here. Yeah, let's try to cover it again. You know, I should have enough melon juice in order to get back. This is why I don't really want to push it. But how much plastic did we get? Almost half a stack. Not sure if we need more. I want to make the new insulation. I'm just back home and yeah, in total we have 49. You know, with the ones that we already took from our previous journey. So we have to smelt it inside the smeltery. And that's going to give us molten plastic from pneumatic craft. Which if we cast it out as an ingot, that should be the actual plastic sheet. Maybe? Lovely. Each 4 gives you 1 plastic. That's the thing. It's so far so good. We got 8. I was a bit wrong because each plastic scrap actually gives you half a bucket of plastic. So in total we got 24 plastic sheet, which is perfect. The steel suit, which is going to give us a lot of insulation, is going to require both types of plastic. One of them is from pneumatic craft, the other one is from thermal series. So the one from thermal series is actually quite easy because I think we have to just smelt down rubber wood. Yeah, that is true. We have to smelt it down twice. We got a few saplings as a quest reward. I planted them. Doesn't really give you that many saplings back. Another thing is that I think I want to start planting some oak so that we get some golden apples. I'm not exactly sure, but I think if you put some sort of a block 6 blocks above the oak sapling, it will never grow into the large one. I could be wrong. I have already done this. So far I did not get any big trees, but you never know. Also, let's check if it actually grows. Nope. Maybe it's like 7 blocks? I don't have a magnet. That's my pickaxe. It has magnetic modifier. So just out of curiosity, will it grow now? Yeah, that's quite nice. So while the robber is cooking, let's fix this guy. Steel suit. So it does require something called a camel pack, which requires a water filter. That is also a quest. And I converted all of my sugar cane into sugar. But it's fine. We have plenty more. So water filter, we need some leather and 1 bucket. That is our camel pack. Honestly speaking, this would have been a very useful thing for exploration because it hydrates you automatically. You know, in a crafting grid, you just combine it with water. We also need some conduit binders. I should have clay, right? Yeah, any conduit will do. We just use the garbage one. Yeah, glass conduit binder. The rubber is also getting prepared, which is great. We have 14. And I already got the string. So let's try to make insulated hydraulic fabric. We actually need a lot, right? Oh boy. Oh, more filters. Oops. You know, I should have made more furnaces. And I think we are going to need way more rubber wood. They do grow here, right? No? Maybe not. It's fine, we just plant them here. That should work. Anyways, let me try to gather the resources. This could take some time. But it has been ages and we needed way more rubber. But I think the expensive part is done. You know, this filtration pocket was the expensive part. And I already have all 3 of them. So there you go. That is our steel suit. It gives us 50 insulation, I think. So, am I fine? I'm still boiling. Significantly insulates you from extreme temperatures. You're not doing an amazing job. It's okay, even though I have made a teeny tiny boo-boo with the spacesuit, I think I have a better option. You know, the hazmat suit from Thermal series. It also seems fitting, right? The problem is that it does require more rubber. So I'm going to make that, but I also want to fix our furnace. I'm not going to use create for that. You know, the fan and lava and whatever. We just need some pipes and more furnaces, right? The pipe from mechanism is not going to happen. You know, the basic logistical transporter because it does require a finished PCB. But the item conduit from Ender.io should work. It's quite cheap. And I think we can also cheat with that. I mean, this is one item conduit. And then we can use it in order to make more conduits without using the pearl. Yeah. Let me try to make more furnaces. I don't know, maybe we are going to go with 8 or something. Yeah, I would say that's a good system. It's a total of 9 furnaces, everything is hooked up to conduits, and we have 3 barrels. One of them is for things that we want to smelt, one of them is for fuel, and the output. I have also went up ahead and made myself a broad axe from Tinker's Construct. It is made out of steel, rose gold, and iron. It's actually quite handy for chopping down the big spruce trees. But it does work a bit weird. It does one column at a time. And also, there's always a mess. But on a very positive note, at least we get tons of spruce. And yeah, it was upgraded twice. So let's talk about the hazmat suit. We are going to need glass, we are going to need iron. And let's see if this thing is a bit better. It does have way less armor, so it's not amazing. Although this time the tooltip seems to be correct. I look weird, but I'm not hot. That's not bad. At all. Yeah, the hazmat suit is garbage. Doesn't really make much of a difference. It seems that whatever we do, we're just boiling. The reason that we're not boiling at this very moment is that we're underground. And the reason that we're underground is that I was looking for some obsidian. You know, we can craft obsidian, but this is way easier. Besides, the important thing is that we get tons of goodies. Yeah, you see up here, we are already boiling. Anyways, the reason that I wanted some obsidian is that can we have an enchanting table? It seems we can. And the reason I wanted an enchanting table is that can I enchant a mesh? Ooh, that's actually quite nice. It's just that we're going to need books, and we don't have that much. So obviously we can use sugarcane in order to make paper, but I think if we hammer down logs, we get sawdust, right? Oh, that's actually quite nice. It's ex nihilo, it always does that. And sawdust does give you paper, right? Yes, it actually gives you more. We don't really have a crazy supply of rotten flesh and leather, so we're going to use cardboard boxes. I found them in the city, they're from Create, and for some reason that was a quest. And with that we should be able to make books. I need 45, right? Apparently I miscalculated, you don't need 45. We had 11, yes. I'm a genius. We could have gone with the enchanter from Ender.io, however the problem is that where do we get feathers? So let's try this one more time. See what we get. Oh, fortune! And efficiency 4! Wow! Just wow! If that is the case, can I also enchant my hazmat suit? Unbreaking. And fire protection, that's actually quite nice. But let's see what kind of garbage are we going to get. With fortune 3. That's nice. Really nice. I'm judging this based on diamonds. I'm not done yet, but this is highly recommended. I will look at the amount of goodies. I also decided to put fortune 2 on my pickaxe. We couldn't go to fortune 3 because we only have 1 ender pearl left. But the result is amazing because now we can fortune the ores and get more ores. The thing is, before we go on a very small exploration back to the city, there is one teeny tiny project that I want to do. Yes, we have the schematic cannon. I want to try and make 2 automated farms. One of them is for pumpkin and melons, and the other one is for cactuses. The problem is that for that we are going to need tons of iron. You know, for hoppers. So in a creative world I have already built the farm, we're just gonna try and place it. That's a lot of hoppers. I think we have to put it somewhere around here, preferably in one chunk. Yeah, that is within one chunk. It's also going to be centered with the farms, which is great. Yeah, that should be a decent location. There's also a clipboard that we can make so that we know what kind of material we need. And yeah, that's a lot of resources, I'm not gonna lie. So first off, we do have 2 tanks of lava. That's good because we also need like 3 glowstone, but we need to smelt the stone again. That is 64 hoppers, which is nowhere near enough. So how many are we missing? 119 more. That's not bad. Well, you guys know the drill. I have to gather so many resources. And I also need some wood. We have an uninvited guest. How did you get in? Oh, I removed the block. They can climb. Well, it's good because I needed the gunpowder. I also have like Fortune 1 on my sword. This is why we got so much gunpowder. By so much I mean like 2. Anyways, I am going to need 91 more fertile soil, and I'm out of wheat. So we can use bone meal, but apparently there's a decent watering can. I tried it in creative, it wasn't that bad. Although in my defense I tried the netherite version, so this could be slightly worse. Let's see. Actually, it's not that bad. It's a 3x3, so not the best. And it does seem it doesn't consume that much water. Aha, so it's finally complete. It took me ages. You know, we had a lot of iron, I sifted more dust to get more iron, and I think we're out of iron. Yeah, we have 1 stack here, and we have like 4 stacks here, and that's it. That was a very expensive project, and I'm not even sure if it's going to be worth it. It's basically a pumpkin and melon farm so that I don't have to harvest it manually. We can also use the melons and pumpkins in order to make dirt, water, etc. So it's not really a bad thing to have. This is something that we have already made twice, once in Trifecta and I think once in Vanilla. It is a design by Ilmango and it's very simple actually. So we are going to plant the melon and pumpkin seeds on the fertile soil. The observer is going to read the stem. Once it's fully grown, it will activate the piston and it will break everything. Then you know it's going to be collected by the hoppers and goes inside the chute. There are 3 levels. The problem is that in this mod pack, water that you place down isn't really water, so that didn't get placed. And also with the schematic cannon, I don't think you can place on crops. So hence I have to do the rest manually. Where's my bed? Oops. Yeah, I think I lost my bed. It's fine. So the only thing that we have to do is that we have to mix pumpkin and melons together. Apparently if you do that, they're going to grow faster. I don't know the reason. Yeah, it's a good thing I used fertile soil. They grow really fast. My fellow lords and ladies of darkness, our farm seems to be complete. I hope I haven't missed anything, and it seems that everything has grown. Maybe not everything on the top, but so far it has been very productive. Look at all those melons. Anyways, as I have already mentioned, we are going to pay a very small visit to the city, and yes, I have also found my bed. It's now obviously purple because I realized you can use beetroot in order to make red dye. But anyways, the reason that we're going to go to the city is that we want some blaze burners. So earlier in the episode, I did make a boo-boo. This is called empty blaze burner. The ones that we can put under the crucible are called blaze burners, so they should have a blaze inside. This time we are going to take a few jeweled apples from bubbly heart canisters as well as some golden apples. Just in case. Oh, and by the way, I did enchant my pants. Protection 4, Unbreaking 3. Enchantments are really good in this mod pack. Let's take some lanterns. We don't need half a stack, maybe 20. I also need it for around the base. I think we are ready. Let's go. I'm back at the city and I think the relic apple from bubbly heart canisters gives us fire resistance, right? Maybe not. Hello boys. We break and the area is secure. Oh, more ammo. And a shotgun. We already have a shotgun. Nothing of interest. Coins are not that bad. Let's have a golden apple. No fire resistance. Oh, hi. We actually want you. And we run. I didn't burn. The place is burning. I'm not burning. Oh, maybe it's because of fire protection on my armor? We got 3. And we got 6. And give me a rod. Maybe not. Yes, we got 2. We can have potions. Hello. I keep getting... Whoa! That was crazy. We do need a lantern up here. Creepers are the worst. I think it was a good idea to bring some apples. We're also looking for some plastic, so let's dig. Yeah, that one scared me. And he does a lot of damage. They're destroying my armor. Okay, at least the pigmen are gone. Maybe not. You know, next episode we want to get into pneumatic craft, so we need a lot of plastic. This is a very tall building. And I don't like it, but that should be the top floor. Maybe we should take a nap. Well, the first building has been cleared. This is the second building. And do you see that bus stop outside? I did find a map. Matter Energy Research Map. That should be the reactor? Because you do have bigger reactors in this mod, but I don't think you can make the controller. You need the scrap box first. But this is a failed PCB, which is not that bad. Some more coins, more plastic. Coins are good for numismatic dynamo, but plastic is abundant. That's the best part. Well, actually, I'm lying. The best part is that I don't catch on fire. Let's break this. I hear pigmen. That's not amazing. Since pigmen are up here, I think it's wise to just lock them. They're not here. You can also find netherite nuggets, advanced bullets, with a rifle. Cool. I go upstairs. A bit of a time later and I have cleared a few buildings. That one, that one, that one, that one. You can still see my scaffolding outside. And also that one. Well, as a result, we did manage to find some mushrooms in the kitchen and a ton of plastic. And also a bunch of gold on the wall, but I don't think I'm gonna take that. But in the meantime, I thought let's check out the reactor. I don't think it's going to be safe, but I have something to drink. You know, what if we increase the render distance? Oh, that's another city. I'm not exactly sure if there are different weird types of buildings. I don't know, something with good loot. That looks different. And also here, is there another map? Oil rig. A different map. This one looks very creepy. But I do want to check it out, just in case. Actually, while it's lighting up, there is something over there. And I think there is a meteor from Applied Energistics as well. I think we have enough drinks to get back, yeah. We do need to get into pneumatic craft first, then we can get into Applied Energistics. So this is going to be kind of redundant. What is that? Oh, oil. Really? But that's it. But at least we have the inscribers. The other building seems to be a farmhouse. Yeah, there's just seeds there, we don't need that. So I have figured out the best way of checking out buildings is to poke holes. And hope there are no baby zombonis. This is a restaurant. Oh, can you put food on the plate? That's nice. Yeah, let's try to find the stupid reactor first. We're close. But that's not the reactor. I think that's where you find parts for Applied Energistics. I'm not gonna lie, that's a very fancy building. We should live there. There are zombie villagers. And there are also aliens. And there's ore. And there are charged creepers, okay. And there are framed blocks. Very fancy. We will check it out later, because look at the crazy number of mobs. Although we can check that building. Hello? Nobody's inside? Yeah, there's nobody inside. That's because there's nothing of significance inside. I see weird things. We go home. I'm back at the base, I sorted everything, and I'm also making a few alloys. So we have Constantan, and I have also went up ahead and made some Invar. I wanted to upgrade my satchel. What you need is a hardened integral component. You put it inside the workbench, it doesn't really require power. I clicked by accident, but yeah, you can put it inside. Then it will have double the capacity. However, I just wanted to try something. Can we have a pond? It's a very expensive pond, but it's fine. We don't have any problem with making water. That should be the last bucket. Goes here. Lovely. If my idea doesn't work, I still need that for rice. I just want to know if I can do some fishing. Yeah? We can fish. Can we get books? We can get boots. The reason that it's so wide is that if it's a 5x5, there is a chance of getting treasures. Is that a treasure? No clue. Again, this is very stupid, but let's enchant it. That was a garbage enchantment. Still very garbage. Again, if it doesn't work, not a big deal, because I wanted this place for rice anyways. Pufferfish. Oh, there is a resource fisher. Unfortunately, we can't make it. It does require PCBs. Take number 2. Welcome to our rice patch. And ignore the fish. Didn't really work. But in other news, it does seem that we can automate the smeltery using just one lever and a hopper. And let us get back down to business. The reason that I wanted some Constantan and Invar was this. Igneous extruder. So voila, we shall have 4. For the moment, we're just going to set it up over here outside because I don't really know where to place them. They're basically cobblestone generators and they're a bit faster than create. I think. Yeah, it is faster. Without any augments. So will you auto output? Maybe not. It's okay, we can make a puller upgrade or something. No, it's called a hopper upgrade. Yeah, we can do that. The problem is that we do have the drawers mod in this mod pack, but it's disabled. You can't craft anything. I don't know why it's included. Anyways, that one is going to make us cobblestone, which is perfect. We also need one which will make us deep slate. Deep slate does require packed ice, but don't you worry, there is a way. I saw it in the quest book, yeah, packed ice. Yeah, with an advanced hopper upgrade, you can pull from the bottom. That's quite good. Like so. We can also automate netherrack and endstone with it, but unfortunately, it does require destabilized redstone. And you know, the resonant ender. And that requires a magma crucible. Unfortunately, I think if this was the original crash landing, that centrifuge would have been a magma crucible. Well, you can't have everything, I guess, but this works fine, and it's way faster. Without an upgrade. Just before we wrap up today's episode, there are a few things that I wanted to do. I did make this smelter a bit taller. We ran out of bricks. We do have to raid the city one more time, I guess, because this is very garbage. Another thing is that I have made myself some infused alloy from mechanism. Oh, cool. I did need some validation in life. No. Anyways, the reason for that is that we want to try and get some better tanks. So that's a garbage tank, and that's an advanced tank. We upgrade all of them. Also, would it be possible to make a configurator? You know, if that is the case, I can use mechanism pipes. They're a bit cheaper. So, do you work? Yes, that is perfect. Because I'm really tired of conduits. Yeah, that's going to be way more lava as well. Also, in the meantime, I have made 2 stacks of steel sheet because that's, I think, how we're going to build our base. That's going to be our block palette. It's a terrible choice, I know. And finally, what I want to do is that I just want to finish the basic survival. You know, we should have an achievement for one day, right? So, camel pack we have already made. Metal detector. Okay. Well, we have the metals, we haven't smelted them yet. Let me smelt some. I think that's everything, right? Yes. I'm gonna take the mesh. There is another one which is called cut and paste. So we have to make some sort of a paste. Which is super easy to make. They even gave us the water. This can be used as a slime ball, right? But yeah. We have some. We can get an extra life, that's something that we will do. And that's the entire reason I kept this pearl. And we have to make some soul sand. So soul sand is going to be easy as long as you have some mycelial spores. And I think the only thing we need are some barrels. I don't know, for the moment we just put it here. We shall infest it. And I'm not sure if you can use a watering can in order to spread the mycelium. You can. Or maybe that was just luck. No, you can. We just have to fill them in with a bucket of water. Yeah, it's getting converted. Yeah, so how do you get soul sand? Okay, just sand. So there you go. That's our soul sand. It's converted. Almost. So that should be another quest. So wait a minute, the only thing which is left is the extra life? It's called a shell constructor. So we can have more than one life. I can die. No. Ooh, wait a minute. Oh, it's any quartz. And it also requires black concrete or grey concrete, which I do have. I stole a few things from the city. So that is the sink core. And that's the shell constructor. And is this the final quest? You also need a shell storage. What a jerk. But this does require power. And we don't have that much power is the thing. Ouch. It did require a DNA sample, which you have to right click. Also, you don't need power. Wait a minute. I'm being built. That's nice. But we need to make another one, and for that we are going to need some pearls which we don't have. So let's try to extract some lava, and we make some endstone. Let's get 18. That should be enough. There is also a compressed hammer, but I'm already carrying like 50 million different tools. Until we get the crushing wheel from Create, this is how it's going to be. So give me a pearl, please. We got 3. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the shell storage. I have to accept the terms and conditions. Fine. Give me. Is it done? No? Is there like a hidden quest? Well, maybe something gets unlocked somewhere. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's also a good time to wrap up the episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Till the next one. Bye bye.